Okay, so this was about 3 months ago. Before this story, I only had one prior experience with edibles. And yeah, it was nothing like this. This was on a whole nother level. This was like just gone, just like tripping, just like absolutely out of this world. So it's a boring Saturday night. Me and my friend, we're bored as fuck. We decide to go to the party. We're sober as hell going to the party. And everybody's just dancing, having a good time. They're all drunk as fuck when we get there. And we see a smoke session. I'm like, hey guys, can I smoke with you? And they're like, do you have money? I'm like, no, I'm not paying. It's a party. What the hell? So they're like, get the fuck out, basically. So I leave their little smoke circle, and I'm just dancing with my friends at this point. There's about 5 other people I know at the party. Probably more than that, probably like 8 or 9. So I'm just dancing with them. They're having the time of their life. So I'm like, fuck, I'm so bored. I'm like overthinking everything because I'm so sober. I'm like, everybody else is like looking like madmen to me because I'm so sober. I'm like, why do these people look so stupid right now? So a weed man approaches me and he says, hey man, I got edibles. You want some? And I'm like, how much are there? He's like, $10. I'm like, that's a good price. And I said, how much come in a bag? He's like, 4. I'm like, how powerful are they? And he's like, they're potent as fuck. Only take one at a time. I'm like, I honestly, all weed men probably say that. So I only take that with like a grain of salt. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I buy the entire bag. It's like 4 for 10, and I buy the entire bag, and I eat one immediately. I eat one, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. Like 20 minutes later, I don't feel anything. So I'm just like, fuck it, eat another one because I still have like 2 left. I'm not thinking at the time what this would do to me. I'm not thinking straight. The weed man literally told me to eat 1 at a time, and I'm eating 2. I ate 2 within the span of like 20 minutes because I wasn't feeling anything. And my prior experience with weed edibles, I only had eaten like half a brownie. So that's nothing compared to even one of these small gummies. So around like, I'd say 30 minutes later, it's starting to come on. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling it come on, but it's coming on strong as hell. It's like getting worse and worse, or in this case, better and better at this point. So I'm feeling some euphoria. I'm feeling confidence. I start dancing with pretty much every hot girl at the party. I literally dance with every hot girl at the party. When my friends see me today, they're like, they pretty much think I'm a player at this point because I dance with so many hot girls at this party. So I'm just dancing with them. I'm dancing with them. I feel so smooth. I feel so relaxed. I'm like, fuck. I'm just dancing with this hot girl. I honestly don't give any fucks right now. I'm just dancing. I'm just dancing. I have complete and utter confidence right now. So I stopped dancing. I don't know why, I don't know how. I just stopped dancing. And I'm like, shit. I'm just like, it's just like an oh shit moment. I'm just hearing the song lyrics to the song, and it's just saying the most ridiculous stuff. I'm literally having like auditory hallucinations right now, but I don't think much of it at the time. I'm just looking towards my friends and I just keep laughing. I'm just smiling. I honestly don't think of it at the time. I'm just in a whole nother world. I'm just having too good of a time. I'm dancing with all these hot girls, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. So I'm just looking at my other friend who's also high out of his mind. He was at the little smoke circle or whatever you want to call it. He was high out of his mind. He was just smiling. He was looking like the Joker, basically, just smiling and just dancing with hot girls like I was. He was just having the time of his life. He was just smiling like he was on fucking Xanax or something. He was just smiling, and I was just laughing at him. I was just laughing. It was just so funny at me. He just say something like, "I'm high as fuck," and I just start laughing because it was funny at the time. It was very funny. He was just like, "I'm high as fuck," and that was just funny to me. It was just funny. So it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. until the point where I just couldn't even function. I was just staring off into space, listening to the song lyrics, just listening to the song lyrics. And the song lyrics were so distorted. I was like, what the fuck did that guy just say? And one of the songs, and then this one is when I knew I fucked up by taking two at a time. One of the song lyrics was, "She gon' suck my dick. She gon' suck my dick." And then I looked over, and this group of girls that I was dancing with, they start saying, "Oh, we're hoes, we're hoes," over and over on them. I'm like, they wouldn't say that. I'm like, why are they saying that? Why would anybody say that? And they just keep saying, "Oh, we're hoes, oh, we're hoes, oh, we're hoes, oh, we're hoes." I'm like, what? At this point, I'm trying to like find out whether I'm bugging or not, or is this just normal like hoe behavior. I'm like, what the hell? So they just keep repeating the phrase, "Oh, we're hoes, oh, we're sluts, oh, we're thoughts." I'm like, and I look over, and everybody's saying this. The entire party saying, "Oh, we're hoes." Every girl at the party keeps saying, "Oh, we're hoes." I'm like, okay, so at this point I knew I was like bugging the fuck out. Bugging the fuck out. I was getting scared at this point. I was like, what the fuck? And it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, I'm just looking around at this point, just staring off into space with my mouth wide open, just looking at the lights, just hearing people say the most ridiculous stuff. I swear like 10 songs passed and they were just all ridiculous. Just the lyrics were so distorted, just made absolutely no sense. I was bugging the fuck out. Like, I've never been that high before. I've only ate half an edible. That was my first weed experience. I never smoked prior. I only did edibles. I only had half an edible. It's like probably like 4 times as powerful as that one. And that first experience with edibles, I thought that fucked me up. I was just laughing in the movie theater for like half an hour. I laughed so much I had to leave the movie theater. That's how much, and it was the first 1 second of the movie. I just started laughing out of nowhere. It was the movie Moana, and they were playing like some Hawaiian song. I just started laughing. So anyway, back to the story. I'm just bugging out, just looking off into space. Okay, so one of my friends, he eventually taps me on my shoulder. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, dude, what are you doing? Just turn around. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's just like, turn around, man, just face this way. And he tells me, he whispers in my ear that I've just been standing behind this group of girls, just looking at them for like a half an hour, just staring at them, just creeping over them. And that's pretty creepy, because I'm like 6'5", and I'm just standing over them, just having this blank expression with my mouth wide open. I'm just standing there, just standing over an entire group of girls, just hovering over them. And he just tells me to turn around and face towards the group I'm in. And I didn't even realize this was fucking happening. I thought 1 second felt like 10 minutes at this point. I just wanted to get out of the party. Or not at this point, but I eventually said, okay, maybe it's peaking or something. Maybe it's going to get better at this point. But I was lying to myself at that point. It was obviously getting worse. The bass and the music, the ground started vibrating. It was hip hop, and it was just crazy. It was just crazy. I felt like the entire party was like jumping up and down, like it was an earthquake, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So at this point, I was kind of starting to flip out. My entire mood changed. My entire mood changed from like, it went from super happy to kind of concerned to just like freaking the hell out. I was just like, okay, I gotta go. I kind of gotta go. But I didn't want to be the guy that like couldn't handle himself at a party. So I kind of refrained from telling my friends that I have to go. But this is when things started getting weird. I started hearing gunshots. I started hearing fucking gunshots. And it sounded so real. It sounded real as fuck. But even if I did want to react, I couldn't. I was just frozen there. I couldn't move. I started hearing screams, yelling, violence, people fighting. It was just auditory hallucinations to the next level. I was just hallucinating. A million things going on at a time, just havoc, just absolute havoc. I started imagining people getting mugged, people getting robbed, people dying, the police knocking on the door. I started imagining freaking ambulances outside waiting for me. It was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, okay. So I was just went into a corner at this point. I was like, I can't take this anymore. I just went into the corner of the party and just sat there for the longest amount of time. I was just standing there. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So I was just sitting there for a good, I don't know, like 10 minutes probably. But my time was so distorted, I can't even remember what the time was or how long I was sitting there. It was so distorted. One second could feel like 10 minutes, and 10 minutes could feel like 1 second. I had no idea. I had no idea at the time. I was just gone. I was just gone, man. So I was just sitting there for like 10 minutes and it just kept getting worse and worse. I hadn't even peaked yet at all. I wasn't even close to peaking. So I was just standing there just looking at everybody, and it was just freaking me out. All the illusions, it was just crazy. It was just like I was in hell. I was in absolute hell. So I eventually managed to, I couldn't even recognize my friend. I couldn't even recognize him. I was looking for him for like a good 20 minutes. Just looking for him in the sea of people. I looked at somebody and he looked like my friend, but he wasn't my friend. So I was just tapping him and saying, hey, you ready to go? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I'm like, I eventually find him and I'm like, okay, we gotta go. He was my best friend at the time, so we didn't really mind. So I'm like, we have to go. I'm like, we have to go. And he's like, 1 second. I'm like, we have to go now. He's like, okay. So he just takes me. And we have to walk because we don't have a car. We literally have to walk because we don't have a car. It's like a mile away, our homes or our dorms. So we walk across the street. I'm just freaking out all along the way because I'm just slowed down. Everything's just slowed down to a halt. So I'm just walking across the street, and my friend, he's looking at me like I'm crazy. Okay, so we're walking across the street, no cars at all. 0 cars, no cars coming. But I just sprint with all my might, stumbling and falling like everywhere to get across the street. There's 0 cars, there's 0 chance of me getting hit or run over anything. But I'm just so paranoid at that point that I just don't even take any chances. So we're walking to our dorm, and we're walking like a little corridor to get to our dorm. And at that point, I just peak. Everything just slows the fuck down. Just slow, like slow motion, like absolute slow motion. I can't even hear what my friend's saying anymore. Just completely distorted time. It just felt like I was walking down that corridor for what felt like a good half an hour when it only took like a minute. I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, this is some strong shit. And this is where stuff starts to get hectic. I don't even know if I peaked at that point or when I got in my room, but it was just bad at that point. All I know was just bad. The high was just bad. I was just paranoid. My mood was off, so that affected my high greatly. Or my trip at this point. It affected my trip. It wasn't even a high anymore. It was just trip. So I went to my room. I just walked in. It was just like I was in a video game. Like my entire life was just a movie or something. And I was just touching things. And it just felt so interesting to me. I was just touching things and just like moving it around, I guess. And it just felt so out of this world, just so out of place. And at this point, I knew I was like out of reality at this point. And I just go to my bed because I probably could not handle myself at this point. I couldn't handle myself before. So I was just like, shit, I kind of want to just go on the internet and just listen to music, but I couldn't even do that. I couldn't do that. I was just too fucked up to listen to music, to listen to freaking music. I played a song and I had no idea what the person was saying. It was just confusing. Everything was just a confusing experience. The music didn't feel good. It just felt confusing. So I just turned it off. I was like, screw this, I'm going to bed. So I just sat in my bed and I looked at my pillow. And this is where I knew shit was getting real. I looked at my fucking pillow, and the pillow turned into like some hot girl, but it was still like textured like a pillow. And I was like, huh? I was like, what the fuck? It was crazy. It was out of this world. It was crazy. And then I look away and then look back, and then it's just a pillow. So I'm like, oh shit. So I just try this out with other objects. I'm just looking at random objects in my room, and eventually morphs into something else. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's kind of creepy too. So my roommate comes in, and I'm like, oh shit, he could totally tell I'm high. He can totally tell I'm high. So I go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and my suite mate's in there. And I'm like, and I don't know why I said this. I don't know why the hell I said this, but I said, I'm high as fuck. And my suite mate, he doesn't do any drugs whatsoever. So I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. So I just look in the mirror, act like I'm doing something. I just wash off my face or something, acting like I just went in there for a reason other than checking to see if I was high. And I just walk out. So I get to the bed, right? And this is bothering me, how I told my suite mate this. It's just bothering the fuck out of me. So I went to bed, right? And I just started having these auditory hallucinations. My suite mate was still in the bathroom. And then my roommate walked in the bathroom too to like fix something with his hair. So I'm like, I'm just in the bed by myself in this dark room. And I just keep hallucinating, auditory hallucinations that they're trying to conspire against me. Like they're just trying to kill me. Like I knew this was a hallucination. I knew it. It wasn't, this weed is not a delirium. It's not gonna make you act crazy per se, but it will give you like these hallucinations. So I knew this was a hallucination. At this point, I have plenty of experience with hallucinations. I was once up for like 3 days straight when I was like a little kid, and I imagined like bugs were crawling all over me, and it was an intense experience. But besides that, let's get back to the story. So I was just hallucinating that they were going to kill me. I'm like, and I heard the suite mate say, "Oh, you hear what he said to me? Oh, you hear what he said to me? I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to murder him. Do you hear what he said to me?" So I'm thinking, did I really just say to him that I'm just high as fuck, or did I say something else? I was like, is my body really like going insane right now? Did I say something like really offensive to him that I didn't even realize at the time? But I'll get to it later. So I'm just there contemplating my entire existence there. So I just can't take it anymore. I just walk in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, I gotta check to see if this is real or not. If this guy's actually trying to kill me. So I just open the bathroom door, and my roommate, he's taking a shit. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And this scares the fuck out of me. This scares the absolute shit out of me. So I just shut the door quickly and lock it. I lock my roommate in the bathroom. I lock the door instinctively because I'm scared as fuck. I didn't even realize I locked it. Like 2 seconds later, I completely forgot that I even locked the door. So I just went back in my bed like nothing happened. I'm like, okay, I fucked up a little bit. Back to my bed. So like I'd say like a half an hour later, he's just banging on the door, saying, let me out, why the fuck would you lock the door? I'm like, holy shit, I locked the door and I didn't even know it. Notice, I was in my bed, not even realizing I had even got up to go check to see what's happening. Not even realizing I had even got up because it fucked with my memory so much. I was just like, holy shit, I'm bugging like a motherfucker. I just get up, unlock the door. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it. It was an accident. It was just, I don't know. So I was just making up a whole bunch of fucking excuses. I didn't want him to know I was high because neither my suite mate or my roommate smoke or do anything. They look down upon it greatly. They're gonna think I'm a fucking drug addict. So I'm like, I don't know. It's late at night. I ain't getting any sleep, man. He's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh shit. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I eventually just get in the bed And I closed my eyes, right? And I'm not even sure if I peaked at this point. I can't even recall because it was all just crazy. Every single experience was just crazy, man. I don't even know. So I just get in my bed, and at this point, I'm hella relaxed. But for some reason, I just can't stop checking my phone to see what time it is. It just felt like the night would never end, but at the same time, it was only like two hours after I left the party. And that wasn't that long. It felt like way longer than that. Like the night would just never end. Like I could never go to sleep. And it was just crazy. I just kept checking my phone, and the minutes would never just end. I just checked my phone I checked my phone at least like 10 times per minute to see if the fucking minute would end. And it just felt like eternity. But in reality, it only took me like 15 minutes to fall asleep when I actually tried to fall asleep. So I just closed my eyes, and it felt like I was spiraling. I was just spiraling, just rotating. My entire body was just rotating. Every time I closed my eyes, it just felt like it was in another, I felt like I was in like a void, just rotating. I don't know how to describe it, just rotating. I was just like in like another universe. I don't know what to say. It wasn't like a like LSD or shrooms experience where you're just like surfing through the cosmos or something. It's just like I'm rotating in like darkness and just blank space. And when I open my eyes, of course, it stops. But then I really start to lose connection with reality. I just completely forget that I'm even in my bed for some reason, or like it's in the back of my mind. I forget that I'm in my room. And then I just start playing with my eyes, just like touching my eyes, just like, I don't know, because my eyes were just so heavy. I just start touching them to see how they were. And the auditory hallucinations just come in at full fucking force. And the sensory hallucinations also come in. It starts to feel like my eyes are turning into like, I don't know how to explain, like slime, I guess. It just feels like my eyes are slime. Like slime. And eventually I just snap out of it and just realize I'm hallucinating, just trying to fall asleep again. But then it just bothers me because my eyes were just so heavy. So I just touch my eyes again and just start like moving around my hand on my eyes, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, man? I'm just like, what the fuck? And at that point I just black out. I don't even remember what happened at that point, but for some reason I just fell asleep and then just woke up the next day just like I was high for like 3 days after that. I'm dead ass, because I had my tolerance was low as hell. So I just black out for 3 days after that, and I'm just like, I'm never ever doing that again. That was a lie, because I did it like 3 times after that experience, but in much lower doses, of course. I'm never taking more than that amount ever again. I felt like I was a danger to others. I was a danger to myself. I had no idea what was going on. I was paranoid. I had no touch with reality, and that scared the hell out of me. So I was like, yeah, that's crazy. It really screwed with my mind for like a week or so. I'm like, how I could get that fucked up from a drug. And that's weed, mind you. Imagine what the other drugs do. Imagine what like LSD does, shrooms. Imagine what that shit does. How that fucks up your mind. And weed, it's not even that much of a psychedelic. It's only a psychedelic in large doses. Weed just changes the way you think mostly. It doesn't really cause hallucinations or something. But I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool that I have like a story to tell, but at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't have done it. I feel like I learned from my mistakes doing that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. The next day, my roommate pretty much thought I was crazy after that. He pretty much would just like stay at night at his friend's house and stuff, just to get away from me, basically. Because he literally at that point was convinced I was crazy, because we weren't the best of friends. We pretty much hated each other. I thought he was crazy too, because he had a lot of mental disorders and everything. So I thought he was crazy too. But anyway, he thought I was crazy, so he just left. But he hasn't been in my room for like a month. He just stays the night at his friend's house. I'm like, wow, I really scared the fuck out of him. And so we just left. I'm like, wow. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm glad at the end of the day, I'm glad I have a story to tell, to like get people not to do large doses. And you should listen to your weed man, even if you do think he's bullshitting. I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry, honestly, because that could have went way wrong. I could have like walked by a cop and he would have instantly been able to tell I'm high. Just don't do drugs. Just don't do drugs. Don't do drugs.